What's up, guys? I hope you are all doing well today, and for today's discussion, it is all about the fact if Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is going to be worth the $70 price tag. A lot of people really have been very outspoken about how they do not like this $70 price tag, that they think that this game is glorified DLC, that it's not worth it. And for today's discussion, I just wanted to kind of give my own personal thoughts as to why I think that this game is in fact priced at $70 and how to me it really isn't all that surprising. So let's get into it. So the first thing we have to consider is why could Nintendo be pricing this game at $70? Well, I think there's two reasons. One, it's Zelda and they know that they can get away with it. I mean, it's one of their most popular franchises. Anytime that they show anything Zelda, people get excited. Let's just be real, back at that September Direct, they showed almost nothing, and then when they showed Zelda at the very end, people went nuts. So the fact that it's Zelda and they know that they can get away with it is definitely one way to look at it, but I think that there is something more to this. Let's take a little bit closer look at the previous game, Breath of the Wild. This game is most likely one of the biggest games Nintendo has ever created. Breath of the Wild was one of the biggest worlds ever created, and now they've taken that world and they've added a sky world to it. They've also added an underground layer to everything, to what looks like a cave system. But I think one of the biggest reasons they are charging this much for the game is because of how long it has taken to make this game a reality. I thought this game might get canceled at one point because of the pandemic. Seriously, we went all through 2020 not hearing about it, and even in 2021 we heard that the game was still in development. We still didn't get shown anything, and then we got a brief look at E3 2021. It was amazing. I lost my mind at that. But because of all the games getting delayed and getting put, I honestly thought this game had a chance of getting canceled and just would not end up coming out. But thankfully that turned out not to be the case. So why are people upset at the price point for this game? Well, the biggest argument I've seen that is being made right now is that it looks a lot like the same world as Breath of the Wild, which is understandable. We still don't know a lot about this game, despite now having 4 trailers to go off of. And that's where I want to draw our focus. Nintendo hasn't shown enough of this game yet, and I think there is a reason why. Nintendo really hasn't gone in depth about this game because they know that a 10-minute segment in a Nintendo Direct just isn't enough. Breath of the Wild took up a whole E3 back in 2016. Let's just remember that. Back at E3 2016, their whole booth was dedicated to one game, and that was Zelda Breath of the Wild, because they knew that this game was gigantic, that they really had to go in depth about what this game was, the new abilities, the new open world system. They really had to go in depth about what that game was going to be. And now you're creating a sequel that is not only using that same world, but adding new things to it, plus an underground, plus a sky world, plus new abilities, plus a new story, plus new things we probably haven't seen yet. You get the picture. I think Nintendo is waiting for the moment they can really go in depth about what sets this game apart, and I think that's going to be in the form of a Zelda Nintendo Direct, a 30 to 40 minute presentation about why this game is the next Zelda, rather than just glorified DLC. I think when we finally get a true in-depth look at this game, we will see why this game is being priced at $70. Also, for those of you who are worried about this game being the same, here's what Nintendo Treehouse member Bill Trennan had to say about what to expect from this game.
I mean, I would say it's an easy comparison or conclusion to jump to at this point in time, just given, what's been shown so far and given the nature of it being a direct sequel. It's not often that there is a direct sequel to a Zelda game. And so I understand people making that conclusion. But at the same time, and I don't want to kind of delve too much into it, but this is its own game. And I think that the way that it builds on Breath of the Wild, which already was such an expansive game with so many layers of Link's abilities and layers to the gameplay, I think this is going to layer quite a bit more into that. And I think that by the time you finish playing it, I think everybody's probably going to come to the conclusion that this is really sort of its own thing. And I think as we start to show a bit more of the game over the coming months to the next year or so, I think it'll probably start to be a bit more apparent where this game kind of stands on its own and what makes it so unique.
Yeah, I think we're starting to see how this game is a tad different, and I think as we get closer, we will begin to see more and more that this is in fact its own game rather than just DLC. Me personally, I really don't have a problem with the $70 price point. I've seen enough now to know that this game is going to be bigger and better. Seriously, how high are we going to travel in this game with the Sky World? And I'm excited for the darker tone that this game is going to take with Ganondorf's return. His return, seriously, I'm excited for the story in this game. But anyways, I want to know what you all think. Do you think the $70 price is worth it for the next Zelda adventure? Please comment below and let me know. And if you're new here to the channel, please consider subscribing. I love discussing all things Zelda, all things Nintendo, and I would love for you to be a part of the conversation. And until the next video, everyone, take care.